Hey, YouTube. Let's try this again. Okay, so this is my first live ever. Don't ask me why I chose this time to do it. I know eventually that I would, kind of thing. Sort of feel like sometimes that I don't have anything to say. Wait a minute. Hold on. Is my live chat on? Let's turn that chat on. Pop-up chat, participants. There we go. Oh, nice to meet you guys. I'm not going to do this thing where they go and say every person's name because I always, frankly, it always annoyed me when they go and they say for a half hour, hello, Bobby. Hello, Susan. Hello. Oh, my goodness. You guys are really on here. I don't know what took me so long to do this. When I first got on YouTube, I went and I didn't have a computer in my living room, right? So this is where all my early videos are from here. So I went and bought a good webcam, microphone, a new computer. I got all this stuff to record in here, and then I moved into the living room when I went to the Apple computer. So I never used any of this stuff, so it's pretty new. I'm pretty amazed, actually. Okay, so I can read on here. Oh, hello, Squeenie. Hello, Squeenie. They're saying hello to you too, Squeenie. My beautiful baby. Okay, so I got to figure out what we're going to talk about now. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. Let me see your transcript. Let me start off with a little story. Okay. Well, people ask me to come in my bedroom. They're kind of curious about this picture right here, right? Now, I've told the story before, but I'm going to tell it again just for something to talk about, right? So that is the first, when I got out of prison, and what year was it? 2002? When I got out of prison in 2002, all I owned was the clothes on my back and that picture right there. But it wasn't, obviously it wasn't a big picture like that. I became a Christian in prison, right? And it was me and one other guy on our cell block, one other gay guy there at Vacaville State Prison. And I was just a barely baby Christian, right? I was still doubtful. I'm still learning. But I was enthusiastic in my newfound Christendom, right? So I had hope that I could change my life. I had been there so many times, and all I knew was drugs, right? So that this friend of mine, this other gay guy who was in there, he was pretty much a church guy, good guy. He came and gave me that picture. It was he worked in the office, prison office. So he tore a picture out of a magazine, and it was just a little picture the size of a small magazine, right? So when I got out, all I had was my clothes on my back and that picture. So when I got to drug program, I was so insecure that I had to have the program pick me up at the prison, all the way in Vacaville, California, maybe 3-hour drive. I didn't trust myself to get back to the city without getting high, because when you're in prison for a while and you're already a drug addict, the first thing you think about as you're getting out is getting high. Your asshole begins to pucker, you're nervous, you sweat. You can't help it. It's natural because this is what you're used to. Is what you came in there for, right? So he knew I was a baby Christian, and he gave me that little picture. When I got out in program, there was a Kinko's next door. So I went out and I blew it real big, right? Much bigger than this. And then I cut it out. This was my Christ. Now, I know people say, oh, Christ was not a white man. I don't give a damn. I was in prison. This was my point of contact, right? So there are memories wrapped up in this particular Christ. Now, he could have been brown, dark, black. He could have been anything. That picture has special meaning to me. It's the first thing I own, right? And I prayed in that direction for a long time. God has been faithful to me, right? That's my story about where that picture came from. It was huge. I just cut out just the face. Point of contact, because when I had my prison cell, that's all I had to look at. Is that an interesting story? I hope. Let's see what you're saying. No, you guys. I don't think I figured out how to give me any money yet. But I will do this. Let me put my Cash App in here. I don't want to miss out on the blessings if they are here. We'll put our Cash App in here because we don't know how yet to put that other thing they use. What is it? Super chat. I don't know how to do it. Maybe one of you guys can tell me. Timothy. TimothyBlaine. That's it. Okay, I know Wilson to say something about it, but there's my Cash App. Okay, so anyway, so let's talk about all the beef going on. Let's talk about this beef sector. Are you guys comfortable with the name beef sector? I mean, I hate it, absolutely hate it. This Section 8 sector shit. I really didn't like that because it put everybody into this group like we're all stupid and ignorant, and everybody's on welfare and everybody's poor and tore up. So I didn't like that at all. But what about this beef sector? What do you guys think? Okay, I guess I have to find out a mod or somebody who can. Okay. Yeah, what do you guys think about it? A beef sector. Is that a place where anybody can come and beef if they have a beef? Or is it just us characters, like us reality characters? Reality characters. Are we like Nene and them and we just argue with each other? Because I kind of feel like this that kind of way. And when people see me on the street and they approach me, they always ask about these people, right? And then, oh, what about that Jay Wilson? I said, wait a minute. I'm not trying to make that bastard famous, right? But that's how you know them. They say they're your characters. So I think that in some ways, YouTube is replacing reality TV as the newest thing, as the latest thing going on, right? So it seems like to me, let's say, okay, I'll mod for you. Who is you? How do I mod you? D1 D1. I don't know how to do it. Let me see. Does anything say here? You guys who know stuff, tell me how to mod people. Pop participants, pop up, Google. Well, we got to figure it out later, I guess. But I can do one thing for you. I can put that Cash App in there again. Miss Wilson, she always, she begs all the time, right? But anytime any of us people who don't beg all the time say anything or even have the nerve to have her Cash App, she always blows it up. Oh, we put a Cash App. He put a Cash App. He's begging. He's begging. No. I've had to Cash App up for months. I think I got, somebody gave me $100 once. But let me see. Copy this. I want to copy. Yeah, that way I can keep doing it. Yeah, he always makes a big deal out of us having the nerve to ask for anything. Anyway, so talking about the beef sector. My frustration with the beef sector is this. I know I got this thing going with Jay Wilson. It's been going on for, I think it's been going on for a year. And it's not fake. It's not putting on. I really don't, I do dislike him. It's like we're just two different ships, honey. One person who is bougie and another person who is just baseline. That's me. I just like to be a real person, right? So I don't like all the airs and all that. I don't like all the bragging. I don't like so many things that irritate me about him. So if you guys are wondering if it's fake, no, it's not fake. I know for some people, apparently that can happen because there was one point when Jay Wilson and Larry Nelson plotted to have a beef and make up publicly and film it. So people are capable of all kinds of things, right? Let's see what it says. Okay, you're happy. Don't put down. People are so encouraging. Yeah, I don't get a lot of hate mail. I know people who are, the more popular they get, the more haters they get too, right? But it hasn't been my experience where I've been hated so far. I mean, I imagine there's always people who want to support someone else. They're going to talk shit about you just because they want to support that other person, right? But I haven't encountered. This has always been a positive thing for me. It's always been a source of encouragement. T.S. Madison's on here? Oh my God. I just can't believe that all these people are on here watching at the same time. Computers are, it's taken me 3 years to push that goddamn button. What am I talking about? Oh, yeah. So what I'm talking about is beef sector, right? Now, practically everyone that I watch on here is in a beef with someone, right? And the thing that's so frustrating is you can't talk about things, right? I mean, I think Sean Bradley, he's very funny to me, entertaining to me. I can't say a damn thing about what the situation with him and who he's beefing with. I don't remember who it is, even Tracy, or I can't say anything about his beefs, right? Because I don't want to get into it with him. I like him. Tracy, I love Tracy. I think she does a great job. Sometimes she says something I don't like, I just click off, kind of thing, right? But you're so limited as to what you can say because every word is scrutinized. And if you even have the nerve to make a comment in someone else's live or something, then people are watching the damn live. I heard what you said over there on Miss Things. That, oh, you don't. I know you didn't love me, and that, all that kind of stuff, right? So it limits you to how many people you can talk to. But I see all my little friends are here. I see all the people I've been. Okay, yeah, you got to be pretty smart. I have dyslexia and I don't read fast. So let me see. Ah, damn, I can't read it. I think the way you can slow it down. Yeah. Yeah, you guys just be patient with me. It's just good to be on here talking. So I guess we're the beef sector now, is what we're known as. But I think those church people are giving us a run for our money because I was watching last night for entertainment purposes, the beef going on between the church people, between King Jives and Conscious TV and Larry Reed, although I think Larry Reed is trying to stay kind of on the perimeter of periphery of that still, and a couple of other people in that in that crowd. They beef just as much as I do. It tells me that now the mukbang, they're beefing. And you remember when the white children got into it over their makeup stuff, right? And these people are making millions of dollars, and they're teenagers. That was that guy, James Charles. That made the news from their beef. So apparently, all sectors have issues, but we have become just like all we do is bitch and argue with each other, right? I just can't believe how easy this damn thing is. My goodness. Okay. Okay. So what do you guys want to talk about? Tell me. Give me a subject. I can't read this shit, child. If somebody knows how to slow this thing back down, Larry, Conscious TV is Larry's lapdog. Okay. Yeah, those two are tight. So excited you hear. Live smooches. Mukbangers are beefing over collars. Anyway, I'm glad I'm not beefing with anybody except for Wilson. Now, I don't understand the situation with Wilson. I really don't. Because it seems to me the easiest thing to do, I think he is blocked. He's definitely, I'm not subscribed to him, but I keep being drawn into this thing. It is almost like reality TV. You just can't resist it, right? I used to get up and watch the news for 2 hours every morning. And now I cannot, first of all, I can't stand the sound of Trump's voice, and he's all over it for the last 3 years. But secondly, I go to the computer before I go to the damn television. And I can't finish a movie because I've been watching Netflix movies. I can't finish them because I want to get back and find out what's going on YouTube. So this thing is quite a toy. You see. Okay. Yeah, I hate Crip too. Okay, I thought I read that part. You. Okay. Right, Mom. I hate. Oh Lord, I can't. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to do this. I can't read this fast. You know what? I can't even read those. When they had the subtitles, you know how they had the foreign films and they have the subtitles. I can't even read them because it goes too goddamn fast. A person who has dyslexia is not because they're stupid, but they certainly read at a different pace because their mind is going from line to line and it's going backwards and so forth. So The great thing about writing, which is really my thing is writing. I started off on YouTube as a writer. That was what I liked to do. That's what I wanted to do. And I did 5 books in 12 years, right? But the great thing about that is if you're dyslexic, it doesn't matter because you have the power to go over it and over it and over it and over it again, right? At your own pace. So when you can go at your own pace, being dyslexic, it doesn't matter. If I were in a class, let's say, right? Some people say, why did you go to college? Why are you doing it? Like everybody's the exact same. If you are dyslexic, that doesn't come easily for you, right? Because you can't go at your own pace. When you're writing a book, there's no one there. It's just you and the computer, right? So you can go over it and over and over. And so I found that I can write books just like a regular person. Reading them is problematic, but I guess I've drifted off into writing now. So people who are interested in writing, feel free to ask me questions about writing, publishing. I do remember all those things. But unfortunately, when I started doing YouTube, I stopped writing. And I mean, literally, when I started my YouTube channel, I had just finished a book 2 weeks before that. That's what kind of draw this thing had on me, right? And it started off with this Walter Hampton thing, and that just went on. Thank God it didn't go on like this thing with this other boy, but that kind of got me into it. And then all of a sudden I couldn't write, so I've been blocked now for the last 3 years. Now I would like to become unblocked because I do enjoy writing. I love to be creative. In our church, we're talking about co-creating with God. That's what we're working on at this point. Being creative. It's important. I don't know how important it is to come on here and sling with these people. For some reason, it's kind of taken over. So anyway, so our goal is now to start writing. The only thing about writing is you just have to sit down and do it. See, I know if I can sit down and get through 2 pages, I'll be off and going. But somehow or other, I'm just blocked about what I want to write about. My series was about love and gospel music. Was the name of the series, right? All 4 of my novels, love and gospel music. The first one, a big novel. It's kind of it kind of reflected my own journey, my own spiritual journey, and it covered a whole lot of information. So it's my best book. But the second book, because I wasn't planning on writing, any long series, but the second book is considered my best book. It's called The Epiphany. So you guys who like to read, I think you'll be surprised. One thing I have a problem with is self-promotion. So I don't like begging, and then somehow or another, self-promotion kind of feels that way sometimes, right? So I came hard with promoting my books at first on Facebook and so forth, but I did a lousy job at promoting my work. So if you go and read the reviews on The Epiphany, which is the second book, it is a part of a series, but it is a standalone book, and I think you can get it for, I think it's $3 or $4. It's pretty cheap. I think everyone who reads that book, they're always surprised because they're thinking that, but this is somebody I know. This is just a YouTuber, so I don't expect it to be a good book, right? I think you'll be fooled. Anyway, enough of that. That's it. Oh, people are really pushing this Cash App. We think I'll get a couple dollars? That'd be wonderful. I just went and bought myself a new couch yesterday. People say my house looked old and wilted and all that kind of shit. But frankly, for my whole life, I've always I'm always bought furniture and stuff. But I never bought a brand new sofa because my thing is antiques. So things that are new always kind of turn me off. But I've been dreaming about this damn Chesterfield sofa. A black Chesterfield sofa is so masculine, right? And it's something I thought I could never afford. But thanks to YouTube, who is totally financing the new couch, I've been able to order this couch. So it'll be here 2 weeks. What is this? Hold on. Okay, it's not important. Okay, let me see what you're saying here. Yes, you can get all my books on Amazon. Meth Monster is the autobiography. It's a memoir. It's not a long book, but it's my. I mean, it is my best book. It is a. If you like to read about real stuff, what I tried to do with Meth Monster is I tried to tell the absolute truth as close as I can get it. And when I got out of prison, and I've been out maybe a couple years then, I was very, very spiritual in that period, right? In that point. So I felt like I was doing the work of God to tell what exactly happened. How do these people get hooked on dope? How does it happen? You know? So I tried to be as truthful as I could about my actual deliverance, all the way up into the point in which I knew that I was delivered. So for me, delivered is there was a point where it's done, it's over. Took about 2 years to get to that point because there was a couple of relapses right at the beginning. But after I gave my faith to God through Christ, my life has never been the same. So I try to communicate that. I want to communicate that to people. That's why I hate all this putting down people and stuff. See, Black people need to help each other and lift each other up. We have so many problems in our community to be on here constantly putting each other down, talking about people's eyebrows and their nose is too wide and all these things that we do. Well, especially, I don't like to play subliminals and all that. So I'll just say the way Wilson is, it just, oh my God, it just grades on me. I just feel like if you're a minister, you should be helping people. That's what it should be about. You should be, I think, more like Johnny Mack. If you're going to be in ministry, you're going to claim the name of God and speak in his name and on his behalf, you should take it more seriously. That's what I believe. I think that's the thing that annoys me so much, because there is power in faith. I know there's power in faith. Now, it's just my job to try to communicate it. And that's the great thing about writing. Writing can be a lot more serious than I can. It can tell truths that, on here it's very difficult to share anything real. People can't come in here and talk about anything in their struggles, because people like certain people will pick that up and use that as a weapon against you. Why? Because they don't know anything unless you tell it. But you come on here, you want to communicate with people, right? And also you want to help people. You want to help people. You want to show them something real. But many times this thing is just, what do those people call it? MES. Mess. It's a goddamn mess. Okay, they use your difficulties and your struggles as a weapon. People shouldn't be talking about people, their prison life and so forth. You ought to be glad to be out of prison. You know how many Black people are in prison? You guys have no idea. You're out here, right? Well, some of you do. People, they don't act like they do, but they got brothers and cousins and uncles and boyfriends and lovers, and all these people are in prison, right? And I hear the conversations of the guys on the inside of the pen. But there are thousands and thousands and thousands of Black people in prison. So we should be encouraging people how to stay out of prison, not dogging them and kicking them because they've been there. And particularly if they've been there 20 years ago. That you are a success if you're out and you stayed out, right? Anyway, you people going Cash App crazy. I wonder if it's going to be some, oh, that's why that damn, you know what? I bet that's why my phone is keep going off. Wilson's going to shit a brick. He is going to shit a brick if I get $20. He can't stand it. He can't take it. Anytime somebody else gets anything, he can't take it. Good, make him mad. He said, make the devil mad. I'm saying, make him mad. Check your Cash App. Okay, I'll check it. But I'm 61 years old now. So if I try to do that and this at the same time, I'll never be able to pull it off. See, I've only gotten Cash App a couple times, so I'm not even sure how to go about doing it. Let me see. Where you go to your app store? No, I got it on here. Let's see if it says anything. Okay, it's $113, right? Yeah, it's $113. Thank you, people. Thank you for the $113. I guess I'm supposed to shout them out as they come or whatever. But I'll get better at this thing. I do it. I mean, I will do this. I didn't have no idea it was so damn easy though. And it's great to be able to use all this computer shit I bought. When I first got on YouTube, I ended up buying 5 microphones before I got it right. Right. First, I got this thing, snow cone, for about $50. I never used it. I think it's about the 3rd time it's being used. Then I said, "Oh, this sounds terrible." So I got the little clip-on thing. I just kept buying shit, trying to get it together right. Then I got this one. These are the ones like that you see on television when they clip them on your clothes and all that kind of stuff. And then I still wasn't satisfied, so I went and got and it was only about settings. All of them are fine. I mean, they're just microphones. But I ended up getting that, that big tall jetty thing, and that's on that computer in there. So I finally get to use this stuff. Let me see. Oh, my camera's crystal clear. That's great. That's great. Sissy Queen. Oh, there's Rita the Baddest Roaster. Hello, Rita the Baddest Roaster. Nice to meet you. I like all you guys. I mean, I like all you guys. That's why I can't say anything about any of your beef. Stop beefing, so we can talk, right? Because it's just you love one, and then you love another one, and then the next week those two are beefing. So now you can't say shit. I love James Caldwell, but I can't keep up. Hell, if I say anything anywhere, he always knows, right? And then he's beefing with somebody else that I like. So I like all you guys. I'm not saying it's a bad thing necessarily. I mean, isn't this what they've been doing on reality TV for years? Haven't we been watching Andy Cohen and all of his housewives for the last few years? This is basically what they do. Just argue with each other. There's no way possible that somebody could be arguing every single week, right? But they managed to do it, and then we're managing to do it. Let me see. What else? Tell me something else to talk about. James Caldwell is mother. Oh, mother. James Caldwell. Okay, let's talk about James Caldwell for a minute. He's one of the first ones I became familiar with, right? And I became familiar with him because I've written 5 books, and he has written 5 books. So I said, "Oh, look, there's another author on here." So I connected to him for that reason. And so he had written 5 books. And I said, "Listen, my dream is that somebody would read my books, take an interest and read the series and commentate on it, right?" So I said, well, I'll do that with James Caldwell. I started with the first book in the series, and I read every single book, and I reviewed every single book. And that was a great experience. That's how I became involved with James Caldwell. It was just his respect as a writer, because I love the series. And then I wonder how much he's writing now. I don't know. And then when Empire first came on, oh, that was the best. He gave the best review on Empire season 1. You guys can, if you're sometimes go back and watch some of these old reviews. He gave such an intriguing review of Empire because everybody was excited about Empire in that first season, right? And he was so ecstatic about it. And his review was so good. I said, you know what? I would love to be able to do that. I would love to be able to be comfortable enough to sit down, watch a show, and discuss it with an audience. Because he was so enthusiastic about this series. Of course, the enthusiasm waned, as it did with almost everybody. But in the beginning, it was that hot. So James Caldwell was the first one I actually became a fan of, right? What's up, Mr. Blaine? Hi. All these names. I know I've seen you guys, but Creasy Baby Picture. Are you a troll? What the hell your name, Creasy's Baby Picture? Y'all leave Creasy alone. Lord have mercy. Hey, hi guys. Hi, Darcia. Yeah, how did this thing get going with Jay Wilson? We might as well discuss it. And I would, I really would like to move on past that. It's just, I don't understand it. I'll tell you the truth. I don't understand it. But it's something about that dude. I became aware of Jay Wilson because I was in the hospital and I had been diagnosed with cancer, liver cancer, right? And in my hospital bed, I was watching YouTube, couldn't do much else. I could barely move my arms. But I saw this guy who was praying for me, him and King Jives. I said, "Oh, that's nice." I mean, I'm not into, public prayers and things like that. But I said, "Oh, that's nice. People have faith, pray for me." So when I came back to YouTube, and he had been watching me, I know he had been watching me a little bit. He wasn't any hardcore fan. I hadn't made that many videos. But then I started realizing that this was, I just felt like it wasn't sincere. I felt like, well, this is clout chasing. He didn't give a fuck about me. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But he was always shouting out my name and so forth. And at first I thought it was cute, But then the thing happened with Phi Babe and at $25. And I don't know. I went from love. No, for a while though, his personality was irritating me. A lot of his views were irritating me. This is the thing when you're mixing all these people together, right? You're taking people who are one step from the projects to people who are homeless virtually, to people who have 1 degree, to people who have 5 degrees, and all these people all mixed together, right? But what you have to realize is there's the responsibility. You have a responsibility to be decent people. So that started really to irritate me a lot. It's like I say, well, I was dyslexic. I didn't go to college, but I was one of the smartest people in my class. So I'm not stupid, but how can you go and challenge that? That's why I always calling him stupid and ignorant and dumb and whatever, because it just seemed like, I don't know. It seems like he was holding his college education over the heads of other people. It's not like he was holding his home over people who didn't have a home. Now, I'm sorry, honey. I have been to the lowest gutter you can get in. I wasn't always a drug dealer. I was also a drug addict. So there were some couple of rough years in the beginning. And if it wasn't for my partner rescuing me, I would have been a homeless bum, right? So I've been around. So it's so irritating to me to see people who have more putting down people who have so much less than them. It just seems wrong to me. So I guess that's the annoyance. And I've tried. I had 12 steps to getting over Jay Wilson. But he enjoys this thing as well. You see? Because we could just ignore each other, but somehow or other, we're all getting some out of this. That's why we're doing it, right? What else? A person that I get involved with on here? Jay Wilson. I can't think of the other guys. Well, Sean Bradley was there in the early stages too. I like Sean Bradley because I knew he talked real fast, and when I was a kid, I stuttered. I mean, I had a terrible, terrible stutter, right? From the time I was 8 years old until probably 13 or so, I just I couldn't get my words out, right? So when I see somebody who does talk strange or talk funny, I mean, he's from the South or whatever. But I said, look, this guy doesn't care about that. And I just admired the way he would come and have all of this personality rush it out of him, not even caring how he sounded or how fast he talked or how many times he said the word be. And I just admired that. So it inspired me. When I first did I was trying to read my books online. And I told you my public reading is stilted. I was so nervous that I couldn't even communicate in that way, right? So my first video was a disaster because I came on here, I was like a nervous little child. But I encourage people, try it, honey. Try it, you'll like it. Because people seem to relate just fine. People talk differently. People have different levels of education. I think the problem is this mixture of people, though. Gay people and women seem to get along best. That's what this whole thing is, right? So I don't like it when the people say, oh, it's the gays against the women and all that kind of. Why are you throwing discord when we seem to be the people that actually get along, right? I don't know why that is. Maybe gay men have a certain sensibility different than straight men. Because I feel like I don't have anything in common with straight men. I just don't. When I was in the pen, I bushed it up and I got along fine there. I was popular in prison. So I guess you just went in Rome, do as the Romans kind of thing. But this seems to be the best combination is gay men and black women. But who is this? Challenge. What they challenge? We beat biting the apple. Okay, let's talk about those goddamn apples. Okay, wait a minute. Here's what I like about that video I made. I think it was last Monday, right before I got my cold, right? Now I'm sitting here looking at this man. I'm looking right in his mouth. He can hardly talk. There's so much going on in his mouth. And he's so and he looks like he had even an underbite. So my thing is this, not a big deal, except for you always talking about people's mouths. Why are you talking about people's mouths? You're 50 years old. But then to come on here and have no explanation whatsoever about why we're seeing a different bottom, your mouth, a different grill. So he doesn't even acknowledge it. Oh no, my teeth. I never experienced people 50 years old showing their teeth and bragging about their teeth. I don't know why this dude has to brag so much. What's with bragging? I mean, don't dream it, be it. I think Wilson talks about me and my regrets so much. And I got to tell you the truth, people. That's not my life at all. I don't have no damn regrets. I had a ball doing drugs. People don't do drugs because it's such a horrible thing. They don't continue to do it for 17 years. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed a life with no responsibilities. I enjoyed no PG&E, no rent, just out there having a ball. That's what it is. That's why people get hooked on it. It's an absence of responsibility. But I don't regret that I made it through all those years. I mean, I had a good time. I keep telling people I don't have sex now, but God knows I had a lot of sex. I had a lot of partying. So that's what I chose to do in my life. And I don't feel bad about it because I had no children. I had no people I was responsible for. So I could do whatever I wanted to do. So he thinks y'all have regrets. I think Jay Wilson has regrets. Seriously, I think he has much more regrets than I do because he has sit up here and went to school for I don't know how many years, but he seems to be pursuing these degrees of his. I would think that he would have a lot more regrets because he never made anything of himself. He's the one that never made anything of his life. He's the one that put in the years. And I mean, if only he can get to the real stuff, because I'm sure a lot of other people have been through this. Black people who felt like they should have got more. That's why he's so insecure. He's got to always talk about things like they are the markers of success. He knows he would rather not be on YouTube talking about people's eyebrows. So he's the one that feels, I believe, like he missed out on a lot more than I did. He failed. Why didn't he have the good job? Why didn't he have the good career? Why didn't things take off for him? I believe that's true. I don't think I worry about it that much because for me, a person going in and out of prison every single year for 10 years, I'm in heaven. I ain't put in no work to do any goddamn thing. To be able to retire, leave from that life into the life I have now, I'm fine. There ain't no regrets. I made it through. They diagnosed me with HIV in 1986, 30 years ago. That means for 15 years, I lived as a person who thought they were going to die at any moment. My partner, he got sick. 3 years later, he was dead. My best friends, they got sick. 2 to 3 years later, they were dead. This is the way it was in the 80s, right? And here I am, 30 years later, recovered from drugs with no AA, no program or anything like that, delivered from drugs where I haven't even thought about drugs in years. And it never even crosses my mind. It's a miracle. So for me, I'm successful. San Francisco is the highest, is the most expensive city in the United States of America, rivaled only by New York City, right? Most people in San Francisco, they live in studio apartments. People who make good money live in studio apartments. So I have a little bit bigger apartment. So it's a big deal to have an apartment like this in San Francisco. Maybe it's not to anybody else, but for here, people in New York understand what I'm saying. People in big cities understand what I'm saying. This place is extraordinarily expensive. My rent, if it was market rate, should be $3,500. I'm in one of the best neighborhoods in San Francisco. Why do I have regrets? I could have been a dead person. I could have been a dead person. I don't want to go into all the drunk along again. I'm a blessed person. See? So it's all about perspective. He sees me as a failure. I see myself as a success. Actually, I see God as a success. I put my faith in God. He delivered me from all the things that ailed me. All the things that kept me down, I have been delivered. So for somebody to keep appearing, tell me that I'm not delivered, yeah, it pisses you off. It pisses you off. Anyway, I went on one. What are you guys saying? Born and raised in the city. Oh, wait a minute. God, damn, I wish I could read faster. Okay. I finally come up with the hotel he has. Hello, guys. Hello. I'm sorry. I don't know your names yet. I can't read this fast as the issue. I know some people have said something about okay, read it. I'm sorry, I couldn't see it. I need a mod block. Yeah, I don't understand the thing with Wilson. I really don't. Because if it wasn't for him, I would get on the computer and I would go right to current events or something. I would have found something else to talk about. But when he comes from me, when he says things that are disrespectful to me, I can't help but go back. This is just my nature. You know, and his nature is he don't give a fuck. He do not give a damn. It just brings him numbers. So me going off on him, there's nothing I can say or do is going to affect Jay Wilson as long as he's getting numbers from me. How do you deal with a personality like that? I don't like people just going off of me. I mean, I just think it's disrespectful. I just think, how dare this person be so disrespectful to me? And I don't know him. You know, you have degrees. I hear about it every single day. I hear about the house every single day. They say, why you worry about his house? Because he talks about it so goddamn much. It's a fundamental difference of perspective in life, right? But as I said, I believe he feels more failed than I do. My one regret is that I didn't pursue interior design. I should have pursued it, but don't drill me about my bedroom, is whatever. But that's the only regret I have. I should have pursued it. What happened with interior design is, it's all what I always wanted to do. But when I got to Hollywood, I was with my lover. I worked at the Pacific Design Center, right? And I worked at the furniture mover at Pacific Design Center, right? And so I was always around decorators, a lot of decorators in my working life. And then I eventually ended up being a assistant manager of a fabric showroom, right? But all the guys that were coming in who were not the senior designers, they were like minimum wage workers. They were picking up fabric samples. And I mean, I was selling them fabric samples. So it just kind of lost its glamour. And then, of course, when drugs came along, I didn't have to worry about it. You're young, you worry about what you're going to do, how you're going to make your mark, how you're going to be successful, how you're going to do that. Dope came along. That was it. I didn't think about it. All I thought I was, getting laid and having a good time. Anyway. I'm not the only person who is irritated by Mr. Wilson either. Let's just keep it real, people. I mean, I don't mind keeping it real. I ain't the only one that likes this shit. Right? Soon as you put Jay Wilson in the title, he said, "Oh, you getting clout from me. Oh, you people, they only come to hear about me." No, they come to hate on you, Jay Wilson. That's what it is. They come to hate on your ass. So it's not me alone. It's not me alone. So I guess you get certain numbers, people, you're gonna get lovers and haters and things like that. But It didn't bother him. He's making his money, so who gives a shit, really? Yes, Jay Wilson's ordering Domino's tonight. Now, see, he has things he could be bragging about. He could be proud of. He, instead of bragging about the goddamn house all the time, he could talk about weight loss, something useful. If he was big, like we all seen how when he was real big, right? And if he had a fucked up grill at that end, he has information that will be valuable to someone. Do you know how people struggle with weight? I mean, it's like a major issue. And particularly, I'm not being funny, but with Black women, they have an ongoing problem with losing weight. Why are they doing weight tutorials? That's something you can be proud of. You can put your fat picture up there and where you are now. Something useful, not always being so catty, not always putting everybody down. Why don't you kind of lift some people up and explain to us, how did the weight come off? And we don't want to hear no stories, because if it was cut off, however you got it off, there's something valuable. You don't hide, everything's a secret, I don't mind talking about HIV because it is the truth. And I think the truth has value. That's why this Trump bastard, he irritates me so bad, because the truth don't mean anything in our government. It means nothing. He just makes up the damn truth. And I see the same characteristics in this dude. Right? Anyway. Fat pasta. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's fun to come in and be catty, It's not subhuman anyway. How long have I been on here, people? Tell me. How long have I been on this thing? Not that I'm going to end or anything. But I do love that we made this big step. I haven't figured out how to do this super chat. That would be kind of interesting. I don't believe in begging for money, but I'm not ashamed to say that I live on Social Security. I live on Social Security, and this thing is a hobby. It was never about money for me. In fact, I went the whole first year without even monetizing it at all. But people need money to live. I mean, so anyway, I don't want to get into all that. I don't want to turn this into no money thing, because I'll probably reject it. That's why I reject just going and working for just to be on a job. Say I got a job. That didn't mean a whole lot to me. So I don't want to have to do things just to get money. But then you got to come on every day and become more and more ridiculous, because you got to keep the money flow. So anyway, God has been good. We're not miserable. We're not regretful. We are blessed. Blessed. Imagine yourself in the 1980s. Think about Pose, where damn near everybody I knew died in 3 years. And here I am, 30 years later, relatively healthy. Even came through cancer. What's he talking about? I have regrets. Oh. He makes me such a downtrodden. I ain't downtrodden, nigga. Love in your bedroom, Uncle Tim. Yeah, my uncle, baby. I haven't messed with my bedroom in a while. I'm gonna get that new couch for my living room. You always want to do something, but nobody ever comes in here. This is totally my personal space. Ain't nobody been in here since I lived here 9 years and not been married, man, woman, man or woman in this room. So I'm not as meticulous in here, kind of thing. But make your space comfortable. Make it what you like. I told you guys before, they done closed down all my junk shops. See, I had to be an adventurer since I didn't have a whole lot of money. I had to go out on these junkets where I would go to all the junk stores in San Francisco, right? And there had to be 9 or 10 of them I was hitting 2 years ago. I would find one thing, it would take sometimes a week to find one thing. And then things start changing in San Francisco. All those stores started closing. And I mean, now they're even closing antique stores, high-end antique stores. They can't pay the rent. So now I'm glad I bought a lot of shit when they were available, but they sure ain't around no more. I don't know. They're trying to work out a way that people, that retailers can somehow or other survive here. Housing is a big deal here. They're trying to work it out. Homelessness is, I mean, outrageous in San Francisco. Every time you go outside, there's somebody laying in your door. I don't give a damn what neighborhood you live in. You know, it's a big problem they got to work out. And then now for the regular people, let's just say for the black people I'm paying attention to, we're down. I think the last count was something like 6% of San Franciscans are black. And there are even a couple of black neighborhoods here. But 6%, San Francisco is 33 and a third % Asian, right? That doesn't mean everyone else is white because we have 6%. And then there's a big Latin community here. So all of those, so there's almost as many Asian people as there are white people here. And I don't know, most people they just moved away. A lot of them moved to Oakland. A lot of people were offered money for their properties. In the Western Addition, used to be a black neighborhood, and they made money. I mean, somebody comes along and offers you $1 million for a house you paid $30,000 for. I mean, you take it and run. But unfortunately, you can't take it and buy another property in San Francisco because you have to pay what the going rate is, and you can't buy nothing for $1 million here. So they moved to Oakland. But now Oakland is experiencing the same thing. People have to go further and further out. You know how that thing goes, where you further and further into the suburbs, whatever. So I feel fortunate to be here. Rent I can afford. In fact, I'm getting a whole new building. They've been working on it. I keep telling you guys, they've been working on it for damn near 2 years. Right, people. Yeah, they're moving to Oakland, and they're going to other places. I'm not familiar with all of the cities, Vallejo, but I mean, in San Francisco, there are help wanted signs in windows all through San Francisco, right? Starbucks, fast food, retail, but a person working retail, which is making near minimum wage, which here minimum wage is basically $15 an hour, they can't afford to live here, so they got to go 2 hours away for a place that they can live. Nobody wants to travel 4 hours a day to go to work on a job that they're barely able to pay for the transportation. So it's a conundrum. But you have to have people. You have to have regular people to make a city work. You can't just be everybody's rich or homeless. Let me see. I'll try to check it again. Come on, Cash App. Oh, my phone went dead. Lord have mercy. Okay. Excuse me, baby. I'm sorry. I hit my sweetheart in the head. Mm-hmm. Don't y'all suck me into no money game now, where I'm watching it one hand. Whoa, glory to God. $10. Thank you for that $10. Can I get another 20? Give me $30 more. Don't turn me into that, please. But I do appreciate you. Let's see. No, it's not an iPhone. It's a Galaxy. I don't know. Something wrong with my phone. Maybe it doesn't work when you charge it. I don't know. We'll check it later. I'll give you the total when I come to my next video. I'm comfortable making my other videos, but I guess it's not that much difference in doing this. You can just be on here longer. Start running your mouth, you know. Okay. Do a song. Why would you want a song from somebody who can't sing? I did enjoy doing that song that I did, Lionel Richie, and I hadn't heard that song since high school, and it all came back to me. Oh, and I found that material things I thought had so much value. Oh, girl, didn't have any value at all. Then I was a lonely man, a man with no direction, a man with no purpose, a man with no one to love but me. But for me, oh, girl, then you came into my life. You made my jagged edges smooth. You made my direction so clear. And you, oh, woman, you became my purpose. My reason for living, girl. You see, you're my heart, you're my soul, you're my strong inspiration, baby. Lord, that's why I'm standing here and singing and opening my arms to you. I want to say, child, why don't you? Strange how music can come back to you, right? So I'm one of them ones that a song will stick in your head till it comes up out of you. J Dot, hi J Dot. I love that tune you made for me that time. That kiss my ass video. That was priceless, honey. I absolutely loved it. So anyway, the Commodores. So when I got to Hollywood, I was 19, and I met Lionel Richie. I read all the Commodores, right? I was dating this guy. He was a costume designer. I was a 19-year-old boy, fresh in town, and he would take me around to the studios as he was working. He had this place called Workroom 27. He was a very successful black man in the 70s. We were about 76. So I worked in his shop. He had a shop right in the heart of West Hollywood, and all these celebrities would come in there, right? Well, one time he took me to the studio, and the Commodores were there, and I was sitting there just watching them rehearse while he was measuring them and so forth. And then one of the guys, the tall black guy, real dark skinned guy, he came over to her and said, "Hey, this is top secret, man. It's top secret. You got to wait outside, dog." So that was my adventure with the Commodores. Then one time I met Cicely Tyson. Now, Cicely Tyson, of all the people, celebrities I ever met, Cicely Tyson was the nicest woman I'd ever come across. She came into the workroom where we sold beads and stuff on clothes and stuff. And she talked to every one of us. I don't mean just pass by and say hi. She sat down at the table and talked to all of the workers there in Workroom 27. That's so endearing. In contrast, one of the worst people I ever come across was that dude, Philip. What was his name? Philip Williams or something? The guy from the Spinners. He came into the shop one time, right? And I was so excited. I had been to his concerts in Indiana. I had been to his concerts since I was a teenager, right? So I said, "Oh, sir, I mean, it's nice to meet you. I've been following you for years and years." He said, "What are you talking? What are you talking to me for? I ain't come here to talk to you." Just rude and nasty. So that was my experience with a nasty person. Just awful. But that was his personality. And apparently I watched things much later. You call it unsung. And that was apparently his personality, a problem that he had. He was a very arrogant man. What other ones that I meet some of the other guys. Raymond St. Jacques. Y'all remember Raymond St. Jacques? I know him very well. So he was this black guy who was gay. Always had entourages of boys and all that kind of stuff. And I met him in West Hollywood, and then we became actually friends. He's passed on now, but anyway, so there was a few of them. My friend was Jermaine Stewart, where I've told the story when we lived together. Yeah, that was before he had any kind of fame. He was a Soul Train dancer, but he knew a lot of people. So I made Jody Watley with him. Anyway, a few people. I miss Hollywood. I don't know what. The only reason I'm in San Francisco, I'm like a runaway slave. I I ain't gonna talk forever, but let me tell you the story about how I got to San Francisco, right? Okay, so this is my partner was dying. I was selling little small amounts of drugs, just enough to stay high in Hollywood, right? I had moved into his apartment. We were together for 3 years, and then we broke up for 7 years, but we were still friends, and we were still fuck buddies and all that. And then in the last 2 years of his life, I was back with him because he needed me as a caregiver. So we had 2 more years together, right? Anyway, so I moved into his apartment. He was getting progressively ill, and I was on crystal meth. Crystal meth is extreme stimulant, right? So you see people running around and going around in circles like this, spinning out, don't know what the hell they're doing the same thing over and over and over again. But being in that apartment was driving me nuts because I was on drugs. He was sick, and I couldn't find anything else to do in that apartment. So when he would fall asleep, I'd go prowling around in the basement of the building where we lived. He had a nice apartment. It was his apartment. It wasn't ours. We didn't get it together. But one day, there was an empty apartment in the building. Now, the neighbors in the building already hated us because I was bringing all kind of drug addicts around. People, it wasn't intentional. It's just something that happened because I couldn't go out there and be in the streets, right? Which I had to get my hustle on because I had to stay high. That was what the whole issue was. So, we had all these weird people coming around. So there are people like that in this building that everyone kind of dislikes because there's always drug addicts hanging around the front door or something like that. So we were one of those kind of families. And so I went into this apartment. Nothing was in there. The people had moved out, but I was going to see if anything was moved out. Well, the neighbor saw me climbing in the window of this apartment in our apartment building, right? And they called the cops. They knew it was an empty apartment. I wasn't doing much harm, but whatever. I was so spun out. I should have left at that point. I should have left the building. But I didn't. I stayed. I was in the apartment, and the manager shows up. This guy with his huge ass dog, one of them Great Danes, right? They all come to the door. And I get arrested. Not because I went into this empty apartment, but because I had a warrant for my arrest. And I was on probation, right? And so that was the last time I saw my partner. That was a sad point in my life because he needed me to be there. He had a family. His whole family lived there in the city. So it would be somebody. He wanted me there. And I was handcuffed. And I mean, he looked so defeated when they took me away. But that's the last time I saw him, right? So they sent me to jail. I was on probation. And I ended up being sent to, when you're in California, they can send you to any prison, right? Anywhere. Since I was HIV positive, the unit that housed HIV people was here in San Francisco, San Quentin State Prison. So they sent me to San Quentin. And I did a little over a year there. I was sentenced to 3 years, but I think I did 13 months or something like that on that. Maybe I did a year and a half. Anyway, when they called me for release, I had every intention to go back to Los Angeles. I had lots of friends in Los Angeles, drug buddies. It's very easy to make friends in that life. I was planning on going back there, right? While I was getting dressed, the cop told me that since I was from Los Angeles, they had to put me on a bus going to Los Angeles. In other words, we're going to give you $100. Everybody else gets $200, right? So I figured I would have $200 to go back to LA, right? They gave me $100 to get all the way back to LA. The bus ticket to LA, so you had to take a bus, you couldn't take a plane. The bus ticket to LA from San Quentin would be about $100, and then you could pick the other money up at your parole officer. So I did a double switch around at the bus station, right? Because the cop took you to the bus station. His job was to see that you got on a train headed in that direction. So after he got me on the bus, I got off the bus. After he left as soon as I got on the bus. The bus was still there waiting for something or other. I got off the bus, went and cashed the ticket in, and headed for San Francisco. I had been here few times getting high. And so I hit Polk Street. And this is where my life began as a drug dealer. Almost as soon as I got here, I met this dealer on Polk Street, and everything changed. Now I was selling drugs for a living. Since I didn't know anybody in San Francisco, I mean, I wasn't so tempted to fuck off the dope or anything. I didn't know anybody. Anyway, but that's the long and short of how I ended up in San Francisco. It was not a choice I made. I mean, I made a choice on that day to go back to LA with no money, or, of course, to spend the $100 in the first hour or so in San Francisco. And things just took off there, and I've been here ever since. So I've been in here 23 years. 90, don't get me with these numbers. I'm terrible with numbers. That's part of the dyslexia. Anyway, so I ended up staying here and living a different way, because I was just a drug addict, right? And I stole for a living. Here, I started selling drugs, so I started making more money. So I wasn't homeless or anything like that. I was only not homeless in LA because my partner had an apartment. But here, things went a little better. So anyway, so I never make a choice to come here. I just came here. But now I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. I have a wonderful church. Bishop Yvette Flunder, you guys have heard of it. Gay people have heard of her. She's a female lesbian bishop here in San Francisco Bay Area. First, we were over here in San Francisco. Now we're in Oakland. But I figured this is my home. This is where I'm supposed to be. So there's been no turning back. So sometimes God will move you. God will move you, and you'll find yourself where you're supposed to be. Okay, so I'm about to get out of here. How long was I on? Somebody tell me how long I was on. Did it tell you? Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I was online for an hour. Oh, my God. Oh, Jay was going to have a fit. Oh, my God. Oh, he getting money. Oh, he has the cash app. Oh, I saw him on there. He said I was a beggar. I'm the begging preacher. He going to go on and on and on because somebody else got $1. Okay, this is our first successful live. Of course, now I know how to do it. We'll see how often we do it. Okay, I love you guys. I'm sorry that I couldn't call out all your names, but I read slow. Eventually, I'll find out how to slow this chat thing down. But I assume because it's moving so fast that people are watching it. So that's very encouraging. You guys always encourage me and lift me up, right? All right, later, guys.